I know. They really, really do.
Brother
Here we go then.
It's like they've got everything, so they have to just try and find something to
Wa alaikum salam.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we can.
perfectly.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you guys for this amazing opportunity. Like, you guys do amazing work. Like, you work really hard, and it's all for free, which is like amazing. You guys are beautiful people. So I got just a very quick question for you guys. I usually
Donald Trump, then, mate. Go on, carry on.
Yeah, I usually have a lot of conversations with atheists and agnostics. So, and of course, they ask the very famous question, which is, if you can present me with credible, objective, empirical evidence that your God exists, then I will leave atheism or agnosticism, and I will believe in your God, and I will join Islam or Christianity or whatever. And usually my response to that is, just because you can't see something, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Like, we can't see the wind, we can't see gravity, and it still exists, right? And when I usually answer that,
but they'll give you an easy answer to that, though, won't they? They'll say,
that's what I mean. Like,
yeah,
we can measure
Is that the criteria they're asking for then, to see?
Yeah, because they're saying credible, objective, empirical evidence.
Yeah, no, but you know, you hit with them, isn't it? Can a belief without proof be true?
Yeah, and listen, when I basically answer them, and I say this, listen, just because you can't see something, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Like, I said,
don't do that answer. Don't do that answer. They know that answer. They'll say, oh, you can measure this. You don't have to see something. You can. The point here is this. The premise is very, very simple one. Can a belief without proof be true? So even though I can't prove this thing to you, could it still be true or not? And once they concede, then they'll have to concede. There's nowhere they can go with it. They'll have to concede a belief without proof can be true. And then you say, okay, so now we've established that. If a belief doesn't need proof to be true, how would you determine its truthfulness? Well, the only way you could possibly do that is to test the reasons for that belief. Then you give your reasons why you believe in a creator, why you yourself believe it. Don't forget them. They're irrelevant at this point. You just show them why you believe in a creator. And then you ask them, can you challenge my reasons? And they can't.
That was a beautiful way of putting it. Beautiful way.
Because here's the thing, see, I don't need to prove nothing to an atheist apart from my belief is rational, reasonable, and intellectual. That's, as far as I'm concerned, that's my position. If they concede it is, but I still don't believe because I don't see. Well, so that's not a problem. I said, what if your eyes are so weak you can't see God? And so you're asking for a proof that can never be given to you due to your weakness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, you know, like, for example, you may have seen my conversation in the park where someone was saying, show me God, let me see God.
Yeah, I'll watch all your videos.
Right. So you know what I did? What did I do to him? I told him to look at the sun, didn't I? And he looked at the sun, and then he looked away after like about a few seconds. I said, no, keep looking at it. And he goes, I can't. I goes, why not? Because it hurts my eyes. Subhanallah. So you can't even look at the creation, and you're asking to look at the creator, but your eyes are so weak they can't fulfill this task. So that would be my route: is take away this idea that you have to go around proving it to everybody. You don't. If a belief without proof can be true without proof, I don't need proof. Just need good reason. My reasons are very, very good. That's it. And then once you have that foundation, then you can say to them, now tell me what you believe and why. Because
I'm basically standing on a strong ground when I basically have that foundation.
That is the position that we should all have as Muslims, is we're in a position of it. We have the logical higher ground. We have the intellectual higher ground. So that's our position. What's their position? They don't have a position. But when you start going, you can't see wind, you can't see gravity, and this, that, the other, you're playing their game now. Yeah. So first thing you do is step back and say, well, relax, mate. I proved nothing to you, mate. Who are you? I have to prove anything to. Now, here's the thing. Here's why I believe. Whether you believe it is none of my business. There's reasons why you should believe it, but if you don't, what can I do? I can't prove it to you.
Yeah, well, thank you, Hamza. That was such a beautiful answer.
Well, that's my answer. You're probably going to hear different angles, but that was what I would say.
Doctor.
I also have another question, if you guys don't mind.
Let the other guys tackle this one, because, like I say, the more responses you have to the the more comfortable you'll feel with an atheist.
Dr. Imran, Jordan, Ben.
I was just going to quickly say, normally when atheists, because I used to be an atheist, normally when they say that, what they really mean is tangible evidence. So when you start saying, well, you can't see the wind and all that, they'll go, yeah, but you can test it. And then you end up looking silly. So I like to explain, I think Hamza's done this one as well, where when you explore what God actually is, like the concept of God, and then ask them, so how could you, if you had all the science in the world and we went in the future and got all the technology, how would you test something that's not within this testable
the realms of the
bubble?
metaphysical.
The realms of metaphysical. You haven't got the right
using weighing scales to measure someone's height.
It's as simple as that, man, and that just crumbles that, and then they just
ask for ridiculous evidence. Seriously, it's insane. It's insane.
That's why you disempower them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not joking. As soon as an atheist comes to me and I smack them with, "Can I believe that be true?" They go, and they go, "No, it can't." Then I say, "Well, you believe your father's your father," and you're done. So they have to come back.
I've watched that video.
That's it. So once they can see the belief without proof could be true, what's the problem now? Don't need proof. Why are you asking for proof? We just said it can be true. Mm-hmm. And they go, "Oh, well, Christians can say that." Yeah, that's fine. What's their reasons to believe in Christianity is true? Oh, they believe that Jesus died for their sins. Really? Why do they believe that? Oh, the Bible's word of God. Why do they believe that? Oh, because it's written by eyewitnesses. Really? Why? Do you understand? And so...
No, I stopped debating Christians. Like, it's just too much for me.
Well, for me, every Christian ends up on Timothy 2:3:16. Especially with
Terry. Please don't invite him to the next arena, please.
Yeah, but the point is that you do not need proof. Because sometimes you don't have proof for something, and it's still true. So, the most of the time, it's to do with the paradigms, and it's to do with the understanding of words. When you say belief, it sounds kind of abstract, but you just say, look, belief just means accept. That's all it means. You accept something. Why do you accept it? You've heard a proposition. What's the proposition? What's the reason supporting the proposition? Change the word belief if you need to. But the reality is this. We have reasons. That's the only way you can challenge anyone's belief is the reasons for it. And once you look at the reasons for it, one of the reasons for Islam are cast iron. There's nothing you can. I had that beautiful debate with Brother Sebastian, that young lad from Eton in the park. I think the blind spot of science, and his conclusion was this: your belief in the existence of a God or a creator are based on 100% logic. Couldn't touch it. That's it, done. Whether he accepts it or not is the next stage. But the point is this: can't touch what you got. If he does try to start ridiculing you after this process, they'd say, "Mate, you're delusional, mate." Because now you're saying things despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary.
Yeah, Terry.
So you just knock them off the back foot straight away, and they're done. And then you just watch mashallah, some of the things that the doctor says, some things Sabor says, some things Mohammed Hijab say, as a finality.
Thank you, guys. I don't want to take a lot of your time. I had another question, but I know there's plenty of people waiting in the back room. So thank you guys for this amazing opportunity, and Jazakallah khair for all the work that you guys do. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam.
Thanks for your question, bro.
Allah bless you, bro. Awesome. So talk about proving Islam or proving God. The next person's Ibrahim. He's got in brackets proving Islam. So he might have something. By the way, guys,
to ask Imran and Jordan if you want to just add anything to that, inshallah. If the brother's still listening, maybe you can help him with.
Yeah, true.
Go on, man.
I just want to say that basically the idea of asking for evidence for an immaterial metaphysical being is a contradiction in terms.
Yeah.
It's really, it doesn't really make sense at all. So what you can do is just put the ball back in their court side of the court by asking them specifically, what evidence are you going to accept?
Yeah.
And then it will just unravel, because everything they'll present to you will not be able to provide any evidence actually for a metaphysical being anyway.
Yeah.
So you can ask. So in the past, when I've been in the park and I've had discussions, usually off camera, and I've asked, okay, you want evidence for the creator? What evidence are you going to accept? What would be acceptable?
Yeah.
And Brother Mansour does this often in his discussions as well. Yeah. And very quickly, whatever they present as evidence, they themselves will say, actually, no, there could be another cause for this, another reason for this. And then they end up realizing, actually, there isn't anything material or empirical, however they want to use the term, that can suffice in this. It has to be a rational, logical argumentation that's brought forward. It's clear logically that the creator has to exist, a necessary being has to exist, and that's the end of the discussion. But it's a silly question, actually.
Yeah, and one thing I would add, if anyone in the situation where an atheist comes up and actually makes the claim God doesn't exist, or says you're crazy for believing in God, you should say, prove it. And they go, what burden of proof's on you? I said, no. You're making a claim, mate. Even if you're trying to affirm a negative, burden of proof is still upon you. You trying to shift the burden back to me is a logical fallacy. And show them that us Muslims, we're not Christians, mate. You can't play us. It's like Christians, your mind has to be in a box. Christians can't think too hard about why they believe what they believe. They really can't. You start asking that to a Christian, and all of a sudden there's that question, why do I actually believe what I believe? Mashallah, you do it to a Muslim, it just makes our iman stronger. It makes our foundations tougher. Do you get me? But if they're making the claim God doesn't exist, or you believe in a sky fairy, you're crazy. Well, prove I'm crazy, mate. Prove there's no God. Then you seem to think there isn't. Give me your evidence. No, you've got to prove it first. No, I don't. You need to, because you're claiming it. I'm minding my own business. You're coming to me telling me God doesn't exist. You must know something more than I do. Now I'm pretty sure within 5 minutes of a conversation, I guarantee you're going to say don't know 5 times. Pretty sure. Yeah. But ask you questions, you're going to say don't know. And then all of a sudden you're going to demonstrate you don't know a lot. You're going to stand proud on the mountain of you don't know. You're being honest. You have integrity to say you don't know. But here's the reality. If you don't know something, you can't say somebody's wrong about that same thing you don't know.
Exactly.
That's what we call logic.
So Jordan, did you accept Islam because you saw God? Is that what convinced you?
To be honest, I was never an atheist. I think, Allah says in the Quran, there's evidence all around. And I think for me, I never had that. And I guess the only thing I'd add, mashallah, it's been answered perfectly. But I think I did some studying on sort of the psychology of an atheist. And it's interesting when you get to the bottom, because they'll give you criteria for proof. But even if God came out of the cloud and said, hello, I'm God, they still would say, well, no, it might be an illusion. Yeah. David Blaine does that. So they put themselves in this scenario where their God's never going to be proven to them. And I feel that there's often there's a deeper reason why they're an atheist. And sometimes if they're your mate, I'll try and get to the bottom of that. Because you see a lot of arguments of, people bring up the contingency argument, and then maybe a well-read atheist will know the ones against it. And it just becomes a clash of people just regurgitating arguments they've heard. In reality, if you don't believe in God, I think there's something else going on.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, Jordan, because I remember in the park, I asked an atheist, okay, what evidence would you accept? And he said, well, if a hand came down from the clouds and said, I'm God,
tap you on the shoulder.
And then I said, now be honest, if that happened, would you then suddenly become a believer? And he went, nah, probably not.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Look, I'll tell you exactly what will happen, right? In that scenario is that and I told you, I said, look, you think you hand, like the lottery, it's you, right? It comes down. The first thing you're going to think is, what could this be besides God? Exactly. What's a rational explanation? Because you're an atheist. You believe there's a natural explanation for everything. So even if something happened that seems so miraculous, you're going to try to grasp at something that it could be. It could easily be a projector. It could even be a drug to me. It could be anything, right? And here's the irony of ironies. I read the Quran, mashallah, throughout the month of Ramadan, and all these atheist arguments are in the Quran, all their responses. I'm not joking. Allah says they'll ask you for me to appear. Was it an angel from heaven? Then what? They still won't believe.
They won't believe. That's right.
And if I did send an angel from heaven, then they think that's the end of days and it's all over for them anyway. But the point is this. They say you're bewitched, oh Muhammad. They say you're this. They're all there in the Quran. It's like proper 8 Mile, proper responded. And there's nothing new. And it's so funny because these are atheists, they're so original coming up with these arguments. You're like, Allah, 1400 years ago told us your responses. We've had 1400 years to prepare for your responses because Allah told us what you're going to try to say. But none of it has any validity. The reality is, like you said, Jordan, there's something else going on. Maybe you're abused as a kid and God didn't help you. I don't know. Maybe that's the thing that, you know.
And do you know what, Hamza? There's also a social conditioning, isn't there? That I think it's coming to us like then where atheists are intellectual, religious people are, and that's kind of happened at school and things like that.
Yeah, when I went to school, religion was a joke. You know, the RE teacher, we used to call a wiggy, and you know, if you had homework to do from your maths, you could do it in RE, just, you know what I mean? Whereas in physics, I had a teacher called Dr. Harrington, and I think he was kind of drunk most of the time, to be honest with you, right? And he would kidney punch you. I'm not joking, proper kidney punch you. Yeah, he was known for his kidney punches. And you came out of school thinking science is a bit serious.
Yeah.
Religion's a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, and then the media doesn't really help. You have newspapers, and one day they'll have Myra Hindley burn in hell. Yeah, because she finally died. All her victims, you know. So, wait a minute, there's a hell, and there's next thing you know, there'll be like a worm. This is our ancestor. Wait a minute, what happened? I thought it was burn in hell, or is our ancestor? Yeah. So they mash you up, man. They don't help you. They don't help you. So it's like people say to me, "Oh, this is a Christian country." This is a Christian country. Why in school did I learn I evolved from some ape-like creature? That's not what Christianity teaches. What happened to Adam and Eve? So then you realize that this is not a Christian country. This is a secular country, and they teach you this idea of evolving from an ape-like creature. We had someone on the arena on Friday, and he said evolution is a fact. This, that, the other. And I said, well, what's the fact? Yeah, we evolved from this common ancestor. And then I just said to him, well, what did the common ancestor come from? Oh, well, we don't know. Wait a minute. So you've got a common ancestor in a vacuum. Where did it come from? What did it come from? And like I said to him, take me to the fish, mate. You've got to go back to the fish. They don't like the fish, but you've got to admit, apparently, that this common ancestor came out of the sea. And then this whatever was in the sea came from this initial single-cell organism. And then your biggest problem is to explain, how did a single-cell living organism come out of a sterile universe?
Yeah.
How
evolution has to be proof for God, doesn't it? Evolution has to be proof for God.
So here's the thing. They stop at the ape-like common ancestor, and they just put it there. And they forget everything before it. And it's like, I alluded to the idea that, look, it's like saying there's a Viking ship in the sea with Vikings on it, yeah? But there's no Viking village. So they haven't come from anywhere. They're just in the sea. Well, where did they come from? Oh, we don't know. Well, how do you know they're there then? Oh, yeah, we seen a boat, and you know they're Vikings, mate. It's just like they take things in a vacuum. Well, the beautiful thing in Islam, we don't have to do that. So, and that's what I love about Islam, is it's the only way of life that can satisfy the mind and soul.
SubhanAllah.
Nothing else. Allahu Akbar.